Hello, today I'm going to start chronic lymphocytic leukemia. I'll be covering my topic under the following headings. So just moving toward the classification part. In the classification part, B and T cell neoplasm, and B and T cell has got peripheral or mature cell neoplasm or precursor B or precursor T cell neoplasm, and the last one is Hodgkin lymphoma. So our CLL, that is chronic lymphocytic leukemia, is coming under this heading, that is mature or peripheral B cell neoplasm. There are so many things are coming under the mature B cell neoplasm. So our coming toward the main topic, that is chronic lymphocytic leukemia. It is the chronic means it is arising from the mature cell, or we can say arising from the peripheral cell. And of course it is leukemia, so there is a proliferation of the cells will be there, and the proliferation of the cells are the monoclonal in the origin. Whatever the cells are going to produce, they are monoclonal in the origin. And as it is arising from the B cell, as it is in the classification we have seen, it is under the category of the B cell neoplasm, and we know the B cells are related with the immune system. B cells are related with the immune system. So B cells are related with the immune system, and here, as it is a neoplastic condition, as this CLL, it is a neoplastic condition. So there is a, whatever the cells are going to produce, they are neoplastic and they are immunologically incompetent. They are immunologically not functional. So it is monoclonal, the neoplastic cells are monoclonal in the origin, they are immunologically dysfunction, and it is slow growing. For any tumor to grow or any neoplasm to grow, there are many factors are responsible, but if I talk the broad categories, then either the proliferation is high or the defective death or decreased death. And here the cause in the CLL is decrease in the death via the decrease in apoptosis. So apoptosis is less, and because of the decreased apoptosis, the tumor burden is high because the cells are not dying. And when the cells are not dying, they remain as such, and this will lead to the high tumor burden. So I told you it is a monoclonal in the origin. Though it is a monoclonal in the origin, it is heterogeneous because it shows both B cell marker, but one T cell marker are also present in the case of CLL, that is CD5. All the markers are of B cell origin, like CD19, 20, 23, CD23, all these are the CD markers, CD90, 19, 20, 23. But one T cell marker is present, that is CD5. So it is a monoclonal and the heterogeneous disease. The characterized by the proliferation of the CD5 and CD23 cells lymphocyte in the bone marrow, blood, and the lymphoid tissue. And as it is disease of the mature B cell, but having the low proliferative activity, and the defective apoptosis. This is defective apoptosis is via the BCL2 overexpression, and we know BCL2 is anti-apoptotic. In brief, the CLL is the most common in the West and the North America or Europe, and less in the Asia. It affects the man more commonly, and it affects elderly patients. The course of the disease is indolent and sometimes show aggressive behavior also. And in this case, the normal hematopoietic precursor in the bone marrow is replaced by this proliferative lymphocyte or these defective lymphocytes. The enlargement of the supraclavicular lymph node are more as compared to the axillary or the inguinal node. But as the disease progresses, it involves the spleen and the liver also. So the patient can present with the hepatomegaly and the splenomegaly. In the etiopathogenesis, genetic factor they play a role. Cytokines play a major role. Tumor necrosis factor alpha, transforming growth factor beta, interleukins 2, vascular endothelial growth factor. And here the ultimately role of all these is by the induction of the BCL2. So when the BCL2 is increased, this will lead to the decreased apoptosis. So apoptosis is not there and ultimately will lead to the tumor burden. All these were secreted by the CLL cell, that is by the leukemic cell. This is PBF picture of the CLL. All these are the mature lymphocytes, and these are the SMUS cells. SMUS cells are the characteristic feature of the CLL, and this is result of the decreased vimentin in the cell membrane of this leukemic cell. This will lead to the fragility of the cells while making the smear. In the pathogenesis, the tumor macroenvironment play much role, and in the tumor macroenvironment come these tumor cells or these lymphocytes, host immune cells, that is stromal cells or the vascular cells, dendritic cells, and the T cells. Now, other factor for the pathogenesis is SDF, that is stromal derived factor. Stromal cell derived factor. These are secreted by the stromal cells. This is secreted by the stromal cells of the bone marrow. Stromal, that's why the name is stromal derived factor 1. And the receptor for SDF1 is over these tumor cells or over this lymphocyte. And these receptors are called CXCR4, or we also can say CD184. So the SDF, that is stromal derived factor secreted by the stromal cell, and the receptor of SDF1 is CXCR4. They ultimately will give rise to the STAT and MAPK pathway, and lead to the proliferation of the cells. The other factor responsible for the pathogenesis is B cell receptor. This play important role in the pathogenesis of CLL. That's why the many inhibitors have been identified, and the inhibitors are used in the treatment. These are the main treatment part. Now coming toward the criteria, there are two criteria, that is NCI, National Cancer Institute Working Group criteria, and the International Workshop Guideline. Almost these both criteria, this International Workshop Guidelines and the NCI, both criteria is similar almost. The difference I will focus. Both say the lymphocyte count or absolute lymphocyte count should be more than 5,000 per microliter. This is not total WBC count, but this is total absolute lymphocyte count. And here the atypical cells should be less than 55%. And these show the B cell antigen, that is CD19, CD20, CD23, and one T cell antigen, that is CD5. Either kappa or lambda chain surface immunoglobulin, confirm their monoclonality, or the low density surface immunoglobulin. The bone marrow lymphocyte should more than 30%. So this is NCI-WG criteria, and this is International Workshop Guideline. But the important thing here is this abnormal lymphocyte in the peripheral blood for greater than 3 months. The presentation duration is greater than 3 months. Otherwise, all the things are similar. Now coming to the hematological parameters. As we shown, I told you in the criteria also, the absolute lymphocyte count are more than 5,000 per microliter. These lymphocytes can range from 20,000 to can reach up to the 2 lakh also. And the peripheral blood, most of them are, or more than 90% or up to the 90%, they are the mature lymphocytes. Now this morphology, they are uniform cells with the regular round nuclear and the cytoplasmic outline, and the nucleus is coarsely clumped with the inconspicuous or the no nucleoli. But when there is an infolding or clefting or indentation is present, they are responsible for the atypicality of the lymphocyte. And when they are present, they are responsible for the worst prognosis. And when smudge cells are more than 30%, they are associated with the good prognosis. They are seen during the making smear. The few pro-lymphocyte, normally they are less than 10%, accompany the lymphocyte in the peripheral blood. And these in the pro-lymphocytes, the nucleus is open up. Normally, I told you the nucleus of the lymphocytes are clumped chromatin, but when the pro-lymphocyte is there, the nucleus is open up with the nucleolus. And when the percentages are more, the FAB guideline, the FAB, according to the FAB classification, they can be divided into the 3-part: CLL alone, CLL, PLL, or PLL. When the pro-lymphocytes are less than 10%, they are called CLL only. When the percentage is increased from within 11 to 55%, they are CLL, called CLL, PLL. And when the percentage is more than 55%, they are called the pro-lymphocytic leukemia. Now, this is the morphology of the pro-lymphocytes. They show the prominent nucleoli, and the nucleus is also open up. Now, red cell morphology. The red cells are normocytic, normochromic. Hemoglobin is normal or may show decrease. As the tumor increases, as the tumor load increases, the erythroid element or all the hematopoietic element diminishes. So the later on the anemia develops. In the few cases, sometimes pure red cell aplasia develop due to the parvovirus infection, and sometimes autoimmune hemolytic anemia may be seen. And in this case, the Coombs test will be positive. As the autoimmune hemolytic anemia, sometimes autoimmune thrombocytopenia may be seen. And when these both are present, that is autoimmune hemolytic anemia and autoimmune thrombocytopenia, this is called Evans syndrome. Normally, the platelet counts are normal, but as the we will see the rise stage or then the advanced stage, the platelet count may be decreased. This is the bone marrow picture. As the count increases, as the count of the lymphocyte or the tumor burden increases, they replaces the hematopoietic precursor. So the hematopoietic precursor are diminished. And the cutoff criteria for the bone marrow is more than 30% lymphocyte, but they may reach up to the 95%. In the laboratory finding, the total WBC count can be more than 2 lakh per microliter, and the absolute lymphocyte count is more than 5,000 per microliter, and the bone marrow, more than 30% lymphocyte should be there. These are the clinical feature. Anemia, patient can present with the anemia, thrombocytopenia, and the neutropenia. As the WBC count in, though the WBC count is increases, but all the increased WBC count is because of all they are the tumor cells only. And the normal cells, WBC are decreased, and the important one being the neutropenia. And because of the neutropenia, patient will present with the infection. Sometimes autoimmune hemolytic anemia, autoimmune thrombocytopenia. In this case, direct Coombs test is the positive. Now, clinical feature, patient can present with the weight loss, fever, night sweat, or extreme fatigue. These are the typical B symptom. Patient can present with the vague sense of the ill-being, enlargement of the node, infection. Now, clinical signs are lymphadenopathy, splenomegaly, hepatomegaly, cutaneous manifestation, and sometimes organ involvement. This is the higher view of the PBF. Here you can see the less cytoplasm. All they are the monoclonal, so they all look similar. All they are just clone, and these are the smudge cell. Here you can see the clump chromatin. Chromatin is clump. Clump chromatin is there. Moving toward the immunophenotyping. In immunophenotyping, they show the B cell marker, but one T cell marker, that is CD5. So important one being CD23, because this CD23 will help it to differentiate it from the mantle cell lymphoma. So CD19, CD20, CD79A is positive and CD79B is negative. CD27 is also positive. The important thing regarding CD19 is stronger positive as compared to the CD22. And when CD20 is strong, that means this is not the case of CLL. In the case of CLL, the CD20 showed dim positivity. CD200, CD52, they also show positivity. Now, cytogenetic and the molecular abnormalities. In the case of CLL, if sometime trisomy 12 is seen, deletion 13q, deletion 11q is seen. When the trisomy, normally trisomy 12 is associated with the unmutated immunoglobulin heavy chain variable gene, and when the word unmutated immunoglobulin heavy chain variable region is there, it is associated with the poor prognosis. And trisomy 12 is associated with the unmutated IGVH, so it has got poor prognosis. The other thing is deletion or deletion of 13q. When deletion of the 13q is there, it has got good prognosis, and when deletion of the 11q is there, it show the bad prognosis. Now, P53 mutation may be there. If it is there, then it show the poor prognosis. Overexpression of the BCL2, and BCL2 is anti-apoptotic. When the overexpression of BCL2 is there, it has got poor prognosis. The other is translocation 114, and it is mantle cell lymphoma, so it has got worse prognosis. Some novel gene, if mutation is there, like Notch1, SF3B1, TP53, and BRCY3, it has got worse prognosis. So all these are the cytogenetic and the molecular abnormality with their prognosis status. Now moving toward the bone marrow histology. In the histology, we see the architecture, or where how they are placed in the bone marrow. So these four patterns are the same. That is interstitial pattern, nodular pattern, mixed pattern, and the diffuse pattern. You can remember it by the mnemonic dim. Dim and dim light you are using in the night. So dim M. D for diffuse, I for interstitial, M for mixed, and N for nodular. So in the interstitial pattern, you can see the tumor cells. These are the tumor cells. So, and in the nodular pattern, they form the nodules of the neoplastic cells. In the mixed pattern, they show nodular pattern as well as interstitial pattern. In the diffuse pattern, they show the diffuse. This is diffuse sheet, and this is trabecule. So this is here. They all are the. This is diffuse cell. All the cells are the diffuse, as they're just like sheet. So diffuse and mixed pattern has got worse prognosis. This is, you can see, forming the nodular pattern. Here this is mixed pattern. Here this is mixed pattern because this is nodule, and here you can see the interstitial pattern. So this is mixed pattern, and this is nodular pattern. Now coming toward the ISC. ISC is performed in the bone marrow, and all these markers show the positivity. Now what is SLL? That is small lymphocytic lymphoma. Small lymphocytic lymphoma, this is disease confined to the lymph node only, and there is absence of the cytopenia. The important thing is it is confined to the lymph node only, and the absolute lymphocyte count is less than 5,000 per microliter. And there should be strict follow-up of these cases. The MBL also, MBL precedes almost all the CLL cases. MBL is monoclonal B-cell lymphocytosis, and this monoclonal B-cell lymphocytosis precedes almost all CLL cases. So here also the close follow-up is necessary, and the count here is also the again less than 5,000 per microliter, and there is the absence of the other lymphoma feature. Now coming to the differential diagnosis, CLL should be differentiated from the mantle cell lymphoma, leukemic phase of the non-Hodgkin lymphoma, prolymphocytic leukemia, hairy cell leukemia variant, and splenic marginal zone lymphoma. Now CLL can transform to the some Richards syndrome, acute leukemia, Hodgkin disease, multiple myeloma, or secondary malignancies. When we will call it as the Richards syndrome, when CLL developing large cells, and it is mainly seen in the lymph node. Just immunoblastic type cells, large cells are seen in the lymph node. Now prognostic factor, prognosis is depend on the mutation, IGVH mutation status. And previously also I told you, if IGVH is mutated, that means good prognosis, and unmutated has got worse prognosis. So without IGVH gene mutation has got worse prognosis. If JAP70 expression is more than 20%, if more than 20% expression is there, it has got worse prognosis. CD38 expression also, if it is more than 30%, this is cutoff value, it is independently associated with the poor prognosis. Now, I will tell you later on the Rye and Binney staging. As the stages advances, the prognosis is poor. And the important thing is lymphocyte doubling down in time. In how much time the lymphocyte got doubled. So if the duration is shorter, or if the duration is less than 1 year, then it has got poor prognosis. Means the lymphocyte got doubled in less than 1 year duration. That means the prognosis is very poor. Serum B2 microglobulin, the higher level affects adversely, means higher the level, prognosis is poor. And more prolymphocyte is associated are associated with the poor prognosis. The pattern also diffuse and mixed pattern has got poor prognosis. MicroRNA, it is a newer advancement, and microRNA act as a tumor suppressor gene, and you know it is helpful. Plasma LDH, higher the level, poor the prognosis. These are some somatic mutation. If they are present, it has got poor prognosis. Higher thymidine kinase level also has got poor prognosis. Now this is Binney staging. Binney staging is, it is starting from the B, so there are A, B, and C. And here you can see this is Rye staging. This is from 0 to 4. Right, I is there, so you can remember it by the first, second, third, fourth. And here it is B, so you can remember it by the staging is A, B, C. And this A staging lymphocytosis is there. The lymphocytosis is in the all, but the regional lymph node are less than 2. And in the case of B, the regional lymph node involvement is greater than 3. And the stage 3, C, it involves the anemia and the thrombocytopenia also. And the cutoff criteria for the hemoglobin is less than 10 gram per deciliter. And the C has got poor prognosis, and the A stages has got favorable prognosis, and B is in intermediate. The Rye staging 0 is in the 0 stage, the lymphocyte are in the blood and the bone marrow only, and it has got good prognosis. And the stage 1, it is present with the lymphadenopathy. One thing has been added, that is lymphadenopathy. In this category 2, two things are added, that is lymphadenopathy and splenomegaly. And in the category or stage 3, the development of the development of the anemia, means all the things are there. Apart from this, anemia has been added, and here the thrombocytopenia has been added. So these are the stage 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These 3 and 4 has got poor prognosis, and these 2, 1 and 2 has got intermediate, and the Rye stage 0 has got good prognosis. So this was all about the CLL. Thank you very much.